Hey everyone, checking back in on the cryptocurrency space and a very significant recovery by the bulls that is certainly notable to shift that momentum right back in their favor. And what this short-term move has done has forced a lot of fresh bears, and I should say bears that have just entered on the loss of the daily uptrend or on the rejection from resistance, forcing them to cover with this significant bull move. So it ended up being a daily inside bar as the oversold bounce tried to get going, and then a big bull move today, potentially, as some of our members are pointing out, being the Weiss cryptocurrency outlook that was put out, and it's a PDF. And just to summarize, there's a whole bunch of information, but pretty much with cryptocurrencies down sharply in price, many observers seem to assume there's been industry-wide decline in usage and practical applications. Nothing could be further from the truth. So it's a bullish narrative on cryptocurrency, and that's potential for the increase in bull volume and this shift in momentum. So definitely worth noting. We've had another member pointing out with our crypto alert system that the automated bot buys of I think he was saying 4 Bitcoin every 5 to 7 seconds on Coinbase were firing off, and he was just making note that it was more significant bot buying activity than we've seen in a while, which is also worth noting as well. So we can see with this pullback on the 4-hour time frame, we had the dump, the bounce, lower high, straight into a lower low, and then this bounce recovery was normal, and I'd say right here, this candlestick is where it changed from, normal, just looking for a lower high, to more significant than that. And looking at it on the hourly time frame, it was really breaking this 39.21 level, which was multiple tops, and as soon as that level broke, the bulls really took off. So where we stand right now, it's the EMA game again for me. The 12-period exponential moving average on the hourly, we've been grinding against it for the last 8 hours and holding it, keeping a very bullish uptrend intact. The 4-hour time frame is giving us multiple inside bars. So inside bar, inside bar. We're working on our third 4-hour inside bar in a row. If it breaks bearish and we lose the hourly exponential support, we look at the 4-hour exponential support and just looking for a 4-hour higher low to form if that bear break does occur. And of course, if the bull break occurs, then we're looking right back up at 40.56, 41.89, and then the weekly resistance at 42.39. So a nice save by the bulls. They are still within striking distance, and this is the first potential. Again, not certain that this reaction is due to that report coming out, but it would be nice to see some fundamental action leading to bullish action. So that's very notable for Bitcoin. We'll see how these 4-hour inside bars break. It's going to indicate, pretty much going to dictate whether we see consolidation into tomorrow. So consolidation overnight or a test of resistances, keeping in mind that we can assume that the bears are lying in wait around 40.56 and around 41.89, as they've certainly been sitting in the the low $4,000 range over the past couple of weeks. And I would be surprised if we didn't see another defense stand by those bears as we approach those key resistance levels. Litecoin stands out again as the lead strong bull. We had the high of 62.22, the low of consolidation of 56.80, a lower high of 61, a higher low of 57.06. We held support by 26 cents, and then we just made a bull break. So an increase in bull volume today, extremely healthy consolidation, and looking for continuation. It looks like a weekly bull flag at this point. As soon as I saw the strength this morning, I put some bids in for Litecoin, and unfortunately, I missed my bid by 9 pennies. So that's the way she goes. Going to sit patiently because I will get some fills if we do see Bitcoin break those 4-hour inside bars bearish. We can see Litecoin is riding the 12-period exponential moving average support as well. And on the 4-hour time frame, if those break, we will look for a 4-hour higher low, and that's where I would be looking to be scaling into an entry on that 4-hour higher low, looking for the daily continuation. Because if Bitcoin is able to make it over its resistance levels and make it up to 4,200, with the lack of resistance on Litecoin, I'd be looking for a move to 65, 68, around the mid to upper $60 range due to the lack of resistance. So certainly still watching Litecoin and the strength there after a very healthy week and a half, or really 2 weeks almost, week and a half, sideways healthy consolidation after a big bull move. Ethereum breaking the daily lower high. So Ethereum has stood out weaker consistently for multiple weeks, Breaking 137.50 has broken the daily lower high pattern. To change the trend convincingly, we will need a daily higher low and higher high to follow through with that move. Next resistance is 139.33. Comparing it to the other setups, grinding the exponential support on the hourly, 4-hour tightening range, still very healthy consolidation, and everybody in line out of the major three names trading very similarly. And Litecoin, 4-hour sideways as well. So this is the kind of setup where I will be looking to scale into Litecoin on consolidation, but I'm going to wait for that trade to come to me. And if it doesn't come to me, that's A-OK. I will wait for the next setup that I like. XRP is lagging behind big time. So the daily lower high on XRP, anything under 32.9 is a lower high. So we're not changing this daily trend anytime soon. If these bulls want to change this daily trend, we're going to have to bounce and set a lower high, hold a higher low, and then change that trend. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's a solid bounce, no doubt, but coming from a weaker positioning than those other names, and Ripple has some work to do to get over weekly exponential resistances to shift momentum back in favor of the bulls. If we look at it on the short term, we're grinding exponential on the hourly here as well. 4-hour time frame tightening up. So the same in that regard. But as far as where we're coming from and how much resistance do we have overhead, it's a different story than the three names that we just looked at. Binance. So Binance saw the bull break. Healthy consolidation to form a daily higher low. Shift in the hourly trend was the indication that our daily higher low had been established, and really the shift in the 4-hour trend. So just a significant bounce. This is an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Usually that's a bullish reversal pattern at the bottom of a downtrend, but it's worth recognizing that you're going from lower highs and lower lows to a higher low and then trying to break resistance. 18, make that 1684, and 1683 is a double top. So if the bulls can form a 4-hour higher low and then break that double top, we're looking right back at the recent high of 1750. So healthy 4-hour consolidation already underway on Binance, whereas those other major names that we just looked at are trading sideways on the 4-hour and don't have as much consolidation slope that Binance has. But Binance certainly looking for the 4-hour higher low. EVX BTC, that wild runner, certainly coming back down to earth. And again, this is why you want to always have a stop loss, because people chasing are now down 30, 40% in one day if they did not have an exit game plan. But with a daily inside bar forming, it's worth starting to watch for a shift in momentum. This is EVX BTC. Daily inside bar is intact. The 4-hour time frame has consolidated significantly, and we're looking for a change in the hourly trend. So on the hourly time frame, we have a low of 245. Make that 216. That's the low. And resistance is up here. Let's see, we just broke resistance barely at 245, but the most important resistance level for me is 264. Anything under 264, I'm going to consider a lower high. And if we can get over that level, again, it's a potential inverse head and shoulder setup with the left shoulder, the head. And if we can't get over 264, we need to form a higher low compared to 216 and then change that trend. Keep an eye out for an hourly trend change on EVX. That would be a potential bottom fishing play with the low of consolidation at that point, hoping that the daily inside bar forms and that the bulls get a bounce at least back towards the middle of that range. And even if it's not towards the middle, if we bounce from these levels up to anything under even 3, it's going to be significant percentage-wise. So worth watching for a shift in momentum after a significant percentage consolidation. EOS bulls showing up in a huge way. This was a really nice equilibrium. So low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high, and then just a smash of a bull break. And we had a bull break yesterday with a slight uptick in volume, and then obviously the follow through today. Really nice to finally see this, because XRP gave us that brutal equilibrium fake out with no follow through. So to see this kind of follow through with the signal being given at 378 and then seeing the price run up that much in one day, 16% move in one day, that's great. Rebuild that confidence in the bulls and see that follow through. And the volume is the telling factor here. We were well over the average 20-day volume, very early on this morning. So the hourly candlestick, there's your break. It all happened pretty much at once and then just a slow, steady climb. Look at the 15-minute uptrend the whole way up. And all that bull volume just out of nowhere on that break, triggering stop buys and people jumping in. So very nice for EOS bulls, who are looking right back up at the recent high of 454. We got up to 440 on this current bull move. So we are overextended. The hourly exponential support is holding, but we will need a 4-hour high or low. The last 4-hour high or low is 363, and we are going to be due for one here. 4-hour inside bar is forming. If that breaks bearish, we'll look for the 4-hour high or low to form in the lower $4 range. NEO was similar to EOS for a while on the daily chart, but obviously lagging behind now. So NEO got this little lower low on the daily where EOS never broke the daily uptrend. So NEO has, so it's a bit of a disadvantage in the short term. 938 is the resistance with multiple tops. After 938 is 975, but if we do not break 938, the bulls do not prove anything to us. Let's put that resistance line up. And we can see rejection, rejection, rejection. Short-term support is 9066. So if we can't break that resistance and we pull back and break 906, that's a short-term red flag that the bulls are losing momentum. But they're still within striking distance, and if we can get over that level, we'll be looking at the bulls trying to head back up to 975. Weekly time frame still maintaining the uptrend. TRX. So here's another equilibrium and a different scenario where we have the low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low, just barely held support, bull break, straight into giving it all back, but still holding support and still in a tightening range. So the bull break did not get a lot of follow through at all, and we gave it all back. So again, a very different setup. You look at EOS on the daily, huge bull volume, multiple times over the average, and breaking all resistance levels nearby, just 454 left. But TRX didn't get that much follow through. So now we have a 4-hour equilibrium to be watching. So we have the low of 2215, the high of 248, we'll call it, double bottom, and we're looking for a 4-hour lower high to form compared to 248. And losing the hourly uptrend will be the indication that our 4-hour lower high has formed. So keep an eye out for a tightening TRX USD 4-hour range with a lower high being set sometime overnight tonight. So eyes peeled on the crypto space here still, very quickly regaining our attention. And why this stands out to me notable for the bulls is because we finally got the signal for the Bitcoin consolidation to begin on the weekly time frame. The weekly pattern was a higher low every single week for 7 weeks in a row, and we broke that by losing the daily uptrend. So that tells us zoom out to the weekly and watch this weekly equilibrium tighten up. And that lasted all of 2 days before the bulls shifted momentum again right back in their favor. And, this could be a potential cup and handle pattern. The psychology cup and handles are best, in my opinion, in uptrends. This is obviously in a downtrend, but you have resistance, the consolidation of the cup, the inability to break resistance, and some healthy consolidation. So the psychology of the pattern is there, but certainly not the ideal setup for a cup and handle. Bottom line is impressive recovery by the bulls. We'll see if they can keep it up. Have to break 40.56. If we do not break 40.56 on Bitcoin, they don't prove anything. If we do not break Litecoin's resistance up at 62.22, bulls don't prove anything. So we do still have a couple levels nearby, but again, it's a nice, it was almost to the point where with those bear breaks on Bitcoin just a few days ago, it was kind of like, all right, we're going to enter a tightening range on the weekly. We're going to see activity drop off and opportunity drop off for the next few weeks while we patiently wait. And then 2 days later, we get this very quick shift. So perking us back up as bulls, and we will see if Litecoin gives an opportunity for 4-hour consolidation entry or if any of these major names do. And we'll keep an eye on things. It's almost like we had, while Bitcoin traded sideways, small altcoins with low market caps that can move easily saw big time pumps. Then Bitcoin broke bearish, and now on the bounce from Bitcoin's bear break, some of the altcoins with higher market caps, more of the well-known names like EOS, are getting the pump. So nice to see the bulls out. Now we just need the follow through. Hope you're well, do good things. I just fed a squirrel a tomato. That's my good thing for the day. Didn't know squirrels ate tomatoes, but he was happy. We'll see you soon. So now on Adventure Time, we're heading into the very appropriately named Valley of the Gods. I was a mere mortal, feeling like a very small speck in the Valley of the Gods. This is another spot with just a dirt road, BLM land, public land. Go at your own will, Camp wherever you want. Don't be a jerk. Pretty much the only rules. And there's another area that's similar to this, but it's more developed. They have tours where they take you in jeeps, and it's all tourists and all that. But again, I was here, maybe 3 cars passed me the whole day, but there's no amenities. You don't have water. You got to bring your own water. There's no bathrooms. There's nothing. So you're exposed. It was extremely hot. I put towels in my car windows and just opened them and sweated out for a bunch of hours waiting for dusk before I could really explore. But this place is just massive. And you can see where, the Native Americans treated them as their ancestors. There's so many of these pillars and rock formations look like people. But I loved how the sky was perfect with these clouds passing, because there would be periods like this with, one section completely darked out and others illuminated, and just the way the shadows, you could literally just watch them across the landscape was really cool. But these monuments, this is what people build in cities and things like that, with monuments and big pillars and all that. But here it is in nature, just from erosion. And this is definitely reminds you of the Wild West, old Western movies. Lots filmed in settings like this. There's your dirt road. I think that's my car with the towels in the window. But an awesome place to be by yourself and to camp out. Looks like a row of people standing. All of these pictures are done with a 5-year-old. This was 2013. So a 5-year-old smartphone. I was blown away by what that phone could do in terms of pictures, and can't even imagine now, even way better. So more pillars, more shadows. Finally got to set up my tent. That's one of my favorite ones in terms of getting the sky and the contrast. So with the sky looking like that and the clouds like that, knew it was going to be a good sunset. And then the shadows of these pillars just stretching dozens of miles across the open landscape. There's the tent, corner of the tent. And the sky was great. And the phone definitely did not do this sunset justice. This was almost as epic as the phone captured that sunset last one at the Canyonlands really well. But this one was just as crazy, colorful, epic back there, but didn't do as good of a job, probably because it was focusing on this in the foreground there. So that is the Valley of the Gods. And again, definitely want to time it so you're not there in the middle of the day, because I had to sit and sweat for a solid 2-3 hours, but it is worth going to. And again, just a very powerful place. You can tell that there is some mojo going on there, as it was a spiritual place for people for thousands of years. So now we're going to head over to Natural Bridges National Monument, and then I forget where we go from there, but I'll see you soon.